Greetings, tabletop addicts and adventurers in recovery. My name is Stubbii.
And I am Gygis.
And we are talking crit. Today, we are breaking down Critical Role's Campaign 4, Episode 9, To The Hounds. And before we do that, we, as we have in other episodes, want to take a moment to kind of appreciate and interact with our commenters that we get on our videos. This one, we technically had 2 commenters, ended up being one guy or girl, person, they, whatever.
And thank you for your comments. This is extremely helpful to us. So
yeah,
keep
and it's
complimenting.
awesome. We're trying to build a community here, so please interact as much as we can. We may disagree with you, and we may be wrong to disagree with you, because you could be right. But we are going to talk about whatever you guys bring to us. In this time, we have Yos, Joss, I'm not sure, depending on language and all of that, that could change what your name actually is, but it's YOSS22H. They commented, the door to the Fey realm did not close after the Shapers' War. They closed after they closed more recently due to the energy from the souls that cannot cross over. And to comment on that, which again, we both super appreciate any comments, any input that you guys give us. Though I do believe we are kind of saying the same thing, especially this is commenting on our previous video, where we just kind of lightly talked about the closing of the Fey realm, or the doors to Fairy, as Brennan puts it. And we just kind of briefly glossed over it, but I mean, it did happen after the Shapers' War. After the Shapers' War, the connection to the afterlife was no longer there in Ahriman. So that is what caused the buildup of these souls. Now, there is no information within the lore of Ahriman that says it was the energy of these souls that caused the closing of the doors. But it is because of the so many lost souls. Now, I don't know if that was so much as recent, where, I mean, 80 years ago is still fairly recent within the times of D&D. So, I mean, Shapers' War was recent. So, I mean, we're kind of saying the same thing. I do think you're off on the energy part of it, but, I mean, again, I think we're saying the same thing. A domino effect happened here. Butterfly effect, if you will. The death of the Shapers caused the end of our connection to the afterlife, which then caused the buildup of unpassing souls, which then caused the door of Fairy to close. It's the domino effect. It took time, but it was because of the Shapers' War that then this happened. If the Shapers didn't die, the door to Fairy would still be open. So that's all I had to say there on that part of it.
Which is something that I wanted to say as well too, but you said it so much better than I was going to say it, so it's like, I'm just gonna stay quiet. But
no, sorry.
Yes.
I did kind of rant there. That's my bad. I did have like a very like,
no, that's good.
whenever he said it, or whenever I saw that comment, I like, it was like, we're kind of saying the same thing. You're just kind of saying it a little overly specifically, but we're saying the same thing. But I will go into over specifics again if we had to, you know. It's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then they went on, and I again, this is, we always enjoy the comments, because it also sparks thoughts in us. It is very like, I mean, that like that first one, it gave me very compelling thoughts. So we do appreciate it. And then also appreciate the that you have enjoyed the commentary and recap that we've been doing. And honestly, also thank you for pointing out the Dame title. Because that is another part of what they commented, is Dame is a title like Sir. It's used for women who have been knighted, and it was just something we kind of just did not think of in the moment. And we
Glossed over
appreciate.
that. It's something that I did recognize, but we did gloss over it. And it seems like a lot of people gloss over that because a lot of people know Sir or anything other kind of subsequent to that, but they don't really understand what a dame is. So thank you
And
for
then
bringing that up because that brings to life a lot of the vocabulary that is being used here.
And then also, it is easy to get confused on that name, on that title or name, because it could have been a name, it could have been a title. It wasn't like, you have Dame Morgaine and then Dame Cosgrove. They held two completely different titles. One is a Hound of the King, and one is a Knight of Sloke. So it's just like two very separate entities and standings and everything. So it's just like, and then we touched on it in our last episode, that it's like we could be wrong. I could have been wrong on it being a name, and I leaned on it being a name because of the such a different standing of characters. If it was just two different knights, then that would make sense. But it was a Hound of the King, something that seemed very different. But I will fully concede that that's probably what it is that it's just Dame was the title, and
Yeah,
that
it's
Dame
all his
Cosgrove.
fault. It's all his fault, not mine.
I will take it. I mean, I fully made assumption there. Um, but from there we will move into our actual breakdown of the episode. Where we go into the cold open, and we're finally getting some more information on the schemers. We haven't seen them in too long. I don't know, what, 4 episodes maybe. Um, and now we have a insight on the aftermath of the Einfasen hostile takeover of the Revolutionary Guard and the Arcane Marshal.
The
Um,
Brethren Hall.
Yep, at the Brethren Hall, where they have the kind of the gathering, and it's kind of a kind of cold moment of like, here's your oh, what is it called?
Like, here's your compensation. Good job. You have you've been here. We recognized that you have been here, and we're not really recognizing anything else.
It's like,
Goodbye.
here is your severance package. That's the word I was looking for. Here's your severance
Yes.
package.
Yes.
Get out. Like, now give us the things we've given you. Take your severance package and leave. Um, the only ones that are going to be left are basically the Arcane's marshals, and even then, the note keepers of the Arcane marshals just are being dismissed as well, because they are having to consolidate the information sector of everything.
Yeah. Because in their eyes, at this moment, the arcane marshals can handle everything that all of their, like their lessers could. So they're consolidating right now. They're consolidating on a very large basis.
Right. And it's like, I mean, that's really all we get from there, is that they're basically consolidating a lot of a lot of the information. They're bottlenecking all information and knowledge so that the Einfausen house has all control of that. Which I mean, that's a lot, but very little at the same time. Is that we're getting like that says a lot, but through very little information. Um, where we then go back. I say back. We go over to Hallandil Fang at the Hallowed Round, where the first play is being put together and realized at the moment. Trying to get the first. It was the one of the. It was a play about one of the rebellions that preceded the Shapers' War. Um, and it seems that it was also an orcish rebellion as well, where we're seeing that it was always the orcs. The orcs wanted to get out of their cycle of war and destruction and tyranny and
Which we've known pretty much from day one that there is
Oscar was
some sort
nasty.
of theme of, well, yes, that too, but there's been a theme of some sort of almost uh, a racial conflict when it comes to the orcs. And we're seeing that come more to light as we get into it.
Right, exactly. Um, but from there, which I mean, I mean, we got. I feel like Brennan was giving us a taste of the seeker or of the schemers this week. We weren't getting a whole lot, um, but um, it was more of a symbolism episode or cold open to give us like a mirroring of what's going on in present day Domon.
And
Uh,
another thing I wanted to
Go
say
ahead. I'm sorry.
is uh, we have been very introduced to dol-makjar as its whole. And it's almost like there are things that we want to blame on dol-makjar, or this has happened in dol-makjar, but now we are getting to a point to where dol-makjar is almost an umbrella at this point. We're getting introduced to everything that's contained within dol-makjar.
Right, right. Yep. It'll be interesting to see more of what's going on because, like, really, we didn't get to see. We got to see a very light, brief overview of Dolmakiar in the overture episode, and we very quickly left and never came back. So it is nice to see what is going on more into Makiar as like the central hub of act like.
Right, yeah. It's the central hub, and we're, very looking forward to seeing what branches out from that.
But from there, we move into the opening scene of this episode, where we are back in Sloke. Where I'm actually surprised that we're back in Sloke because we just finished out the ending of Casimir and uh, heading off towards to try and find Talsidamir, and I thought we were gonna fully switch over to a whole different table, but no, we are continuing down this path, um, where we have this moment with the hounds, Dame Morgaine and Sir Hawkins, after the death of Sir Gully Britches, the Gully Britches, I should say. Um, and we are met with a conversation between the hounds of the king and these dwarves. Um, they are speaking to them about this about this crypt that they accidentally kind of got into, and I believe it's a kern is how you
Karen.
cairn, which I looked up. I didn't get to tell you. In ancient times, in more recent times, what we were talking about is just a stacking of rocks. Sometimes there is a like a crypt inside, a room inside that's holding like bodies and stuff. Um, and they speak of how it was empty, that there was no dead bodies or anything. And as soon as they realized what they were in, they got out because they didn't want to end up seeing something or running into something that they didn't want. Um, but furthermore, this seems that the Draconis were using Sloke as a main base to try and pull out whatever was in that crypt. Whatever that later in the episode. Um, but we see that um, the hounds, whenever they get back over to the group to talk to them, we learn that they did smell Talsidamir in the inn where the Draconis were staying, but at the time, Sid didn't mean anything to them. Like, that was not a name they knew. This was before meeting the group, so they couldn't have helped him at the time.
All right, and it was said as they smelt a strong carnivore.
Yes, yes. And that kind of cued them to know that, like, oh hey, so we're on the right path. We're catching up to Sid. We just need to keep going. And they did get the two birds, one stone line, and stumbling into another one.
Which I wanted to ask you about because we haven't talked about this, me and you. I'm curious, what are your thoughts? Two birds with one stone. So we have Talsidamir, but also, do you think that they actually are on to Taor?
No, I think what it is they are two birds with one stone, being that they got Talsidamir. They're like, we'll grab him, and then also what they pulled out of
Pulled out of
Sloke.
pulled out of Sloke? Oh,
The thing that we learn about at the end of the episode.
right. Okay, yeah. Maybe I'm
That's
jumping the
what.
gun.
Right. Well, no, I mean that's not jumping the gun. It's just that's the other thing. That's the second bird. The one stone was Sloke. Being in Sloke was, hey, coming to Sloke was using one stone, Sloke, to kill two birds, getting Talsidamir and this thing.
Which is also a bit of genius of like not just killing two birds with one stone, but like killing two metaphors with another metaphor.
Yeah, yeah.
Ah,
I think. I mean, again, I could be wrong. If anybody else has a disagreement, get down in the comments below and let us know. But
yeah,
I think that's
I
what
have
it
like
is.
three ideas going through my head right now. So
Because like the other thing
I'm
is,
gonna be wrong no matter what.
It could be they know that and then the other side of it, it could be that they know that Aor and the rest of them are on their heels, so they're going to let whatever they got out of Sloke take care of Talsidamir and everyone else.
Hmm.
So there's multiple, again, layers as always.
Yep.
But then we hit the road, where when we get outside of Sloke, there is a crossroads where all of a sudden, well, after more Morgaine performs this ritual, a fifth road appears, and it is Miller's Road, a hidden fey path that is used by fairies and the Hounds of the King alike. And on this, they talk to Thimble, asking, since she will be with them, to speak on the behalf of the group in case they run into any Fae, so that there isn't any issues. Which then they will. This will be the road to Timony, or not Timony, to Tiberi's Lee.
Ulbrist Lee.
Right.
If you know, you know.
Right. Yep. But yeah, so that's where they end up running into the Black Rabbits, who are a group of they are a group of, what were they called? It was
it was something that Brennan made up himself, I believe.
Well, one of them
they had
was
the Gibbs.
Well, one of them was one that was Brennan made up, which was the nicer version, and the mean version is one that was already around.
I feel like I remember the rose heads.
Yeah, the fairies that had a floral head, and then they had a head of thorns.
Yeah.
Which, whenever like they were fae, that like whenever the common folk left out bread and milk and stuff for the fae to take, they would keep the head of flowers and be nice to those around them. But whenever those promises were broken,
if they broke a promise,
they would switch,
and they would start stealing, and they would corrupt the not corrupt the milk. They would spoil the milk and then everything else.
Right. And they ended up kind of having this interaction where they end up convincing them to go to the man in the, what was his name? The man that was waiting for his daughters. Had it earlier, I can't remember now. But they send them off to there to, like, because they were looking for a garden to tend and someone to give bread and milk, and they also
because that's what Laura's character was like. I know exactly where to send you. For some reason, I'm just going to instantly trust you, and here's everything.
Use this place. Well, I mean, I think it's a Fae trust Fae type of thing.
Right.
So, also they send them off to meet with Tracker to give him the ruby fold, the medicine for his wife's sickness. So they kind of, again, killing two birds with one stone. I feel like this episode should have been called Two Birds with One Stone. I truly do. Like, I love that it was To The Hounds and it was like a gesture to the Hounds of the King, but I feel like it should have been called Two Birds, or called.
I mean, it also could have been called Black Rabbits.
Well, right. But what I'm meaning is, like, it's like,
I get what you. Yeah.
It's come up multiple times, and that's typically how they name the episodes. It's whatever. But then he also does one of the Fae do a little like ritual, giving them heroic inspiration everyone in the party.
Oh yes, which for anyone who hasn't actually watched this one really was, I think, a very rare moment. I think this was just Brennan awarding them for how well that they handled this.
Yeah, and making full circle moments too.
Yeah, a heroic inspiration is nothing to sneeze at. This is not just bardic inspiration. This is an entire reroll.
Yeah, literally, basically giving you advantage.
So on anything you want.
On anything. So that's pretty cool. But
yeah, and I love that I love that Brennan rewards the roles as he does.
Oh,
It's
and
so
then
cinematic.
something we almost just glossed over. The rumors of the House of Royce being slaughtered on their way
Yes.
from their homelands out to another place. They were caught in transit, and we don't know if that is true or not. It is just hearsay, so it could be a lie. I don't know, because that's all the way on the opposite. Like I think that's towards the west, and yeah. So that's
Yeah.
where
So
am I
we
going?
know of that. Whether it is all true or not, we'll find out.
Yeah, that'll be a whole nother thing. But that brings us to Tibersley, where they start to see the celebration of the Candle Festival, a festival that actually Wick invented. Um, it's meant
I'm so glad that you
to
brought that up.
bring joy and celebration about the Candescent Creed and their beliefs. It's probably one of the more wholesome parts of the Candescent Creed. Um, but they move in further, learning about the Earl of Gormalay's wife passing, or they hear about this and like they're just hearing it in passing. Um, they see the healers at the hospital, or they hear about the healings at the hospital, and makes Wick and everyone else kind of want to go check this out because Wick is interested in seeing like what um, what could be going on here.
And
Um,
it's just since that we did not say it, the Earl of Gormley's wife is Cassowin.
Aswin, yes, and at this moment, this is when the hounds kind of take their parting way because it seems that they're likely going to have to do something illegal to get Sid back. So that's where they kind of they split ways, and the hounds cast pass without a trace on them. Um, which then they come to the hospital, um,
Which
where
let's not forget the name. This was Fell Tower. That what was the other wolf's name?
there was Fell Tower. Well, I mean, it was just there was the two that we already were with. They're all three Hounds of the King. It's
But
just
what was the names?
Hawkins and
Oh, Hawkins. Hawkins was the
Morgade.
one who, when they met Fell Tower, I thought that was a very interesting interaction because he was just like, I forget what he says, but he was just like, "You beast," because
Oh
he's
yeah,
such
he
a
basically.
well-spoken wolf. He's just like, "You beast,"
Yep, yep,
and he was like, "Oh, I caught you at a disadvantage," and then he was just like, "You beast."
yep, yep. It's a very, and it seems like they have a very good back and forth of like this kind of rivalry between them. Which
And then there
also,
was
before
something
we forget, oh, go ahead.
there was something that was said that I think maybe it was Casimir that said it, but there was something that was just like, and this might mean nothing, and I might be reading into it way too much,
Casimir.
but he yeah, Casimir. No,
I was about to
wait,
say
Casimir.
Casimir's dead, bro.
Casimir, right?
Cadigan, because again, we've never talked
Cadigan.
to we've never talked to Talsidamir.
Cadigan. I think he mentioned this, or it might have been someone else, but like this was a passing moment of like 2 seconds that like I'm at work and I'm trying to do things, but someone said something along of like was there like a sexual moment in this, and then he was like, yep, no, 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 don't even need to roll on that one.
Right? Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but
No, no, I know what you're talking about. I don't know if that was like a full, like, actual, like, or if that was just a joke. Like if
It's
that was
probably
just
a
an
joke,
above the
but
table joke or not.
it was hard for me to catch that joke, so
No,
I
I
just
get
wanted
you.
to know a bit more about it.
No, I get you. But also before we gloss over this one again, is that we learn what the Hounds of the King are. They are
Oh
not
yes.
druids. They are not polymorph. They are not true polymorph. They're nothing. What they are is whenever they died during the Shapers' War, they were allowed to then be like their souls to be re-put into one of these hounds to serve again for the king because they were supposed to serve in this life and the next, but whenever the afterlife was gone, how are they supposed to do that? Well, how the druids of the stag allowed them to be added to the, or not added but be reincarnated into one of the hounds of the king,
So I
which
have a
is a,
question about that. Not to cut you off, but
yeah, go ahead, what's up?
so one of them uh, opens up like the chest of one of the others, and there's a picture of the knight.
I
That's one that I'm here at work and I'm trying to figure this out. But like, can you explain that to me?
You have to remember these dogs are huge. Like the head of this dog is the size of a
It's
man's
bigger than
chest.
ours.
Yeah, so you have to
Yeah.
think the collar on this thing is bigger than a necklace on a human. So what we're probably looking at is a pendant that probably hangs from the collar. I could be wrong. I would say it's a pendant that hangs from the collar of the dog that can open up and shows the picture within. I want to say that's probably what it is. Um, Again, I could be wrong, and it could be that these dogs have a part to them that can open up and show a picture. But I want to say that this is a like a medallion of sorts that can open that is attached to like a collar that they have. Again,
That would be.
could be wrong, but that's what I assumed was going on.
Yeah, I thought that was so neat because knowing that these are people of a former history that are basically have a just accepted the fact that they will not go into some sort of afterlife, but are willing and able to just come back and be loyal again. I thought that was very cool. And
Very,
I
very
feel like
cool.
that opens up some other possibilities as well.
Yeah, because that leaves a lot of possibilities of who else is able to be reincarnated this way and who else has been.
Exactly.
You know, like that. I'm curious to where else has this been used in this world. Like, where else are we going to see this later on? And how else is it going to be used too? Like, are we going to see golems that have people's souls placed in them or what?
Right. And also, Brennan has used the term constructs a lot. And I feel like we are moving into what is a construct in this world versus what is
Right.
something that is resurrected or necromancy and all
Because he
of
also
that.
touches on
Yeah.
kind of AI to an extent, because he touches on the idea that, like, you guys saw an illusionary squid pop out of nowhere made of light,
Oh,
but
yeah.
what's the end? When does that become a consciousness and a thing? And, like, he kind of, I feel like this kind of touches on AI a little bit to a degree as well, which I think
Yeah, I
is
could see that.
cool. Um,
Yeah. I
but,
feel like um, I feel like there is. We already know it. If you finish the episode, there is tragedy, and there's going to be more tragedy and more tragedy, and I think there's going to be layers, and I think you better be ready to eat the onion on this one.
oh yeah, it's gonna be, so be ready. But to get into that, a part of that was deep is Wickander's growth that we get to see here at the hospital. Um, we have this moment where Thimble, Cadigan, and Tyranny split off to scout the hospital. Wick and Teo are kind of split off on their own, and Wick wants to find a gift for Thimble to try and like he's trying to smooth things over. He's really trying to make Thimble understand, hey, I'm trying to be your friend. Like I understand my family's
Which
bad.
he does a really good job on, by the way.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Especially with them being like such good friends in real life, and she's just sitting here like hating on him constantly. It's hilarious.
Oh, dude, the actual moment of him, what was that? A nat? That was a nat one, right?
Of when?
Of him, of him, like trying to find the gift for her. Wasn't that a nat one? Because then he goes, and he was he meets the shopkeepers who are like, yeah, you want something that's good, you want honey, yeah, that'll attract a fairy, that'll attract a pixie,
I
and
can't
then
even remember if he made him roll.
there's honey right here. It's a clover honey or something like that, and that there's also a little pit of water down there, so they'll get stuck in there, they'll get exhausted, and then they'll drown in the water, and then they'll die in the holy water, and then the light will burn their flesh. It's like,
Yeah. I don't even think that was a roll. I think that was 100% just he was like, how about we go into this place to find a gift for Thimble, and he was like, the place that has all of your people's stuff on it, and he's like, yeah, why not? And he goes in there, and then like it was more like it led down the road of showing that like the Candescent Creed is openly against these things, like, and you're just
well,
blind to
I
it.
think that was a nat one roll.
I mean, you could be right. I just don't
To
remember
find
there
that.
being,
So I think
you
that's
could be
where it
right. I
went
just don't
so
remember there being a
awful.
roll. But yes, it could have been. But on the other side of that, they see uh the Lux of this town, uh, Arathea, um, and how she's comforting and uh actually healing the people of this town, um,
Oh yeah.
and and they see two Draconis um, guards arriving as well, and like they're like, oh, is that like what type of markings is it? And they were like lion is what Brennan he was like.
And this was after a nat 20, a nat
Yeah, because
20
it was
perception, nat 20 stealth
yeah. So he was just like
from
rewarding her on top of
Marisha, right?
rewarding
Wasn't it
her.
Marisha, or
No, that's Laura Bailey.
that was Laura? So nat 20 stealth, nat 20 perception, and then we get rewarded by BLM. And so at this point, we do understand that. Uh, yeah, I think that's the only reason that we even got to understand that they were not just marks, but these were lion claw marks.
Oh yeah, it's because of the nat 20. Otherwise, I think even if it was like a dirty 20, they wouldn't have gotten even that detailed information.
Yeah, we got a lot.
But yeah, and then
I honestly, I think with all of that, I'm just going to be, yeah, with this one. I think that the story has already changed with what Brennan was going with. I think he has. I think he has like 5 different stories in his head because he's a madman. But whatever story he was going with, I think he's like, oh, well, fuck, we're going with this one now.
well, I think that's like
That's just
with
good
knowing
storytelling in
DMing,
general. But
just to be honest, with
yeah,
knowing DMing, that is DMing in general. Is if
yeah,
you have a specific plan in mind, you're doing it wrong, or you're just going to try and railroad your campaign too much.
then you can't really.
And because like, and that's and I again, if you disagree with me, comments below. But like, if you have a set,
hate him, hate him, hate him.
if you have a set plan in mind for like the entire path of the campaign, then you're doing it wrong. You should have like the end goal somewhat planned out where it's like, hey, I want this to be the big bad guy, and then structure your world around that so then the path is set out to kind of loosely go towards that goal, but what path you choose can be just kind of created on the fly. And that's what
Yeah.
Brennan does. He may have
And
like
I think
these
having
certain
a bare minimum of 3 branching pathways is a really good way to uh, go a goal to achieve. But the fact that it seems like he has 5, kind of like you do. You seem to like have like 5 different goals. Also, I don't know why I keep looking at my mic like it's the camera, but I keep doing that.
but
But
no,
I think that's
so like he's not really, it's not so much that there's 5 different ways. There's no paths. There's not. You can't look at it like there's paths. It's just they are interacting with the world that he has created. End of story. There's not paths that he's set up. He doesn't have 5 different paths. He has endless, because whenever you create a goal and then you build the world from that goal, that means they can interact with anything, any pencil, chair, toilet, fucking frog. It doesn't matter. It's going to guide them to that goal. They could endlessly pick up everything in this world and it's all going to point in the same direction because that's how he's built it. And that's how I think every campaign should be built, because then you have full fluidity in the world, because everything is going to kind of fluidly take you down this path, and it's not going to railroad it other than in the sense of like, hey, this is an overwhelming bad force in the world. If you don't take it out or you don't do something about it, it's going to engulf you no matter what, because that's how it works in real life, in fantasy worlds. It doesn't matter. If the big bad guy gets to do what the big bad guy wants to do, it's going to affect everyone. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Like, that's just what it
very
is.
well said.
So like, if like, and that's what I mean by like, you can't look at it as pathways. He's not doing pathways, because if you have pathways, you're railroading. But it is. You set it up to where the world is just meant to interact with, do whatever the fuck you want with that, then it's going to play it out itself, and it's going to come naturally, because you've put this force in the world that's going to enact so many different domino effects. Like, okay, you don't want to go after him right now? Well, he'll get a bigger and bigger problem down the road, and you'll have to face him, because what are you going to do when Hitler comes up in your face and you're the people group that he's wanting to take out? You're gonna have to do something about it. Like, you can't just turn a blind eye forever.
Well, I gotta say, worst DM right here. Just kidding. He's probably the best one that I've been with. I love it. DM, listen to this man. He knows his shit.
No. But to get
The
off
fact
of my
no. I want to dote on you just real quick. The fact that you can differentiate between pathways and story elements. That's awesome.
I appreciate it. But let's get off of my soapbox and get back on the soapbox that is the death of the Earl's wife, that has now convinced him to fully convert to the Candescent Creed. Like, because that is the next thing we are led with, is the group comes back together after seeing that, like, kind of what the church is good for. We are now seeing what corruption is coming. Is that we see that the Earl of Gormalay is now or not transitioning, but converting to the Candescent Creed after the death of his wife. And
removes his circlet, which
yeah,
is something that I wanted to ask about. Was that just kind of a well, anyone of that position would have a circlet. Is he removing that as in a like a I'm done with this, or what was that part when he says it removes his circlet?
I want to say that's probably a symbolism of like I'm taking off this because like a lot of like because like I feel like this is also I mean again the Candescent Creed I feel like is heavily drawn off of like the main religions of our world where a lot of times
Mhm.
they tell you not to covet the like crown and covet
So like he had the
belongings and
crown and or the
stuff.
circlet, and he's just like, I am done with this. I am
Right,
now to
and
the
it could have
light,
been a
sort
circlet
of deal.
of a certain like religion too. He could have been giving up that circlet to take on the new Candescent Creed one. I'm not super certain. I don't think it's super duper like hyper important. I think it was more just a symbolism of begone with the old and in with the new. I think that's more what it
Yeah,
was.
I feel like this part was very like cinematic, as
Right,
in like the storytelling and the narrative of it.
right.
But the
It is
symbolism is probably, we can kind of make of it what we want to.
right. It's more of like a symbolism metaphoric thing than like I mean
Yeah.
yes he literally took the circlet off but I think it was more meant to be seen as a symbol of his transition from whatever religion or without religion he was at the time and now uh, is with the Candescent Creed and then he
Mhm.
kind of lets the people kind of uh, embrace him in his new standing.
Yeah,
But
definitely
with
understand.
this distraction, the group kind of tries to move over to the castle, um, where Tyranny disguises herself as Octus, um, and Thimble scouts to see what she can find ahead, which then she sees Univere and Dosset Draconis talking with the House Ceramai. I believe they were guards, right?
They were guards of some sort,
I
at
believe
least.
House Ceramai is supposed to be the vassal house of Draconis, kind of like uh, Divinos is the vassal house of Royce. So I believe they're technically guards, or at least the military arm of everything. Um, but the guards depart, or prepare to depart, and that's when they end up the group uses the Chanter's egg to turn themselves to go stealthy and get into the cellar of uh, castle. Right? That yeah, this castle. Um, where they move kind of
Yeah, it
deep
was the
into this
castle.
dungeon, hearing the clanking and peep and stuff, and they this rat comes out where Cadigan casts a speak with animals, um, and the
And I
cat.
love.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I love Brennan's um his voices for some of the characters because it was just like, are you going to kill me? It's
Right.
like that's all I had
um,
to say on that one. It just that cracked me
People
up.
go through that door and they die, but they don't stink. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, what does
yeah,
that
yeah.
mean?
Basically, I should be able to smell them, but I don't. So
I
I'm
don't.
leaving.
Right, but again, what does that mean? Do they die and
Right?
they what? They how do they not stink? Do they just what? We find out
So it's like,
soon.
yeah. So that makes me think necromancy. I can't be necromancy.
right?
What is it though?
But then Tyranny goes through the door and answering something on the other, thinking there's something on the other side. When she's met the blood-soaked cage with black fur
With the black
remnants.
fur remnants, and that's where
Stressed fur. It's just stressed fur.
it's just stressed fur, and that's also where uh like oh shit. He's just like he starts freaking out, and I just love that how much, even though he is not really there at this moment, he is still just freaking
Panicking.
out.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep. But they come in. She comes into it's a deeper chamber filled with Draconis guards. Uh,
with fewer
and
than you can count in the dark.
do what?
With fewer than you can count in the dark.
Right, right. A House Ceremony knight reveals um the serpent eyes.
And pulls the chain.
Yep. And the cage opens, revealing the eight-legged horned basilisk-like creature. Which I
Yep.
mean,
And
obviously, is probably
if you were Octonus, you would be dead already.
yep, yep, because they believe he's dead at the moment, or most believe he's dead at the moment.
Yeah.
Because like I
Such
believe,
a bad move.
yep, yep. Um, which then locking eyes with this beast, Tyranny starts to petrify. Um,
And that's
that's
something they really made sense of, or really eccentrified, is started to petrify. So, is she petrified? Is she going to be petrified? We will find out after they do the initiation rule next time, right?
right. Well, I think
I'm
it's
hoping.
if it's a basilisk, I believe it's instant petrification, and the only way to undo it is greater restoration, a greater restoration potion, or the blood of a basilisk, and it has to be fresh blood.
Which wasn't one of the last things that Travis was saying, is that one of us has a greater restoration potion, right?
Right. Well, also I think it was more of like I hope someone has greater restoration is I think is what it was, but then I like in the cooldown it turns into like, well, we're none of us are high enough level to have that yet. I think one of us has lesser restoration, but that's it. And then it goes on, they're like, "Wait, isn't there something else? What of a basilisk undoes petrification?" And that's whenever it turned into, I think it's a basilisk dick. I think it's the dick of
Oh
a
shit!
basilisk that will do it. And
Yeah, that actually reminds me. I totally forgot to do the cooldown. I
which
like
I
did
mean,
half of,
it didn't have a whole lot that was too pertinent. It talked a little bit
except for
about,
Basilisk Dick.
well, like, except for the basilisk dick part. Yeah, that's about it. Um, but they like,
Where's
which is funny is
Where's
like I think
Scanlan when you
most of
need
them
him?
forgot from campaign 1 all of the stuff that happened with basilisks, and they've all forgotten how they fixed that, which I mean, again, that was like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, so it makes sense that they don't remember.
Yeah, that was like 10 years ago. Because I think
Well, it
we're
would have been
getting
more.
into the weeds
It would have been
here.
more because it was like,
2013, right?
was it 2013? Maybe I thought it was earlier. So yeah, maybe it's just 10 years ago, about a little over, maybe just over
I mean,
10
that's
years
like
ago.
almost 13 years ago. But yeah,
Yeah, but
we're getting old,
and
dude.
that's literally where the episode is left off, though, is on that cliffhanger of Tyranny possibly being petrified. The other thing that they did bring up is that Tyranny is using a disguise self spell, so it's all illusionary. It's not actual. It's not like a polymorph. So she doesn't go
Oh
into
yeah,
stone as Octus. She goes into stone as Tyranny. And so like,
yeah.
since as soon as she would be full stone, the spell would drop and she would just the illusion would go away.
And so it goes from like what did Tyranny do? She's like, oh, this. And so I
Right,
imagine that she must have doing this to Demon,
right.
which I think is hilarious. But also the amount of planning that went into all of this for it to immediately go to shit.
Is crazy. Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah,
on
it
that,
cracked me the fuck up.
right. But on that, would you want to move over into our announcements?
I think we are good because I've already had my moment here. So let's go.
Well, with that, really the only big announcements is we want to continue to push this. We have our 100 sub Aramon lore video that we're wanting to start it. I don't want to start it until we get closer to that 100 sub goal because I want to have as much of the most recent information in that video as we can. So the closer we get to that, the faster we'll start working on that. But right now we're at 33 subscribers, so we've gained a couple since last time. But
Yeah, and any of you who want to help us out a little bit more, and you maybe want to, if you're interested, you want to do a little bit less of the research, we'll do the research for you, and we'll put it into a format that is just exciting, We'll make it exciting. We'll make it
a little
fun.
more I'm a little more
We'll have it for you.
digestible as well than having to read the wiki because that's about the only way you're going to get
Yeah.
this information is reading the wiki yourself. So help us get to that goal, and we'll put out that video. Another thing, we're always releasing more content under our other. It's under the same umbrella of Adventurers Anonymous, but the Ashen Realm Actual Play podcast. It's our D&D campaign. If you've heard us reference me being a DM and everything, it's that's where I do it, is at the Ashen Realm podcast, where we also have Karstead Hydorim over here.
Karstead Hydorim.
Yep, our dragonborn friend, and many, many, many more characters. But also on that, if you want to also interact with us further outside of just the comments, we also have a Reddit page, r/adventurers_anonymous, no punctuation, just ADVENTUR. I'm not even gonna do the rest of it. Adventurers Anonymous, you get it. It's pretty easy to find. We only have a few posts, but light it up over there, and one of us will personally respond to it.
I would be happy to respond as well because I like
Um,
talking to people, and anyone has an interest in what we're doing and what we're putting out there, I would love to hear from you.
oh yeah. But also, we talked about it in our last video. We can't talk too much about it because we don't have a whole lot of information about the project we're getting into. Um, but we also don't know what information we can release about it. So we just want to prep you guys to be kind of looking out for announcements. I guess if you wanted to talk more about that.
I think I can say very vaguely, we are going to be doing some voice acting for a project that will be coming up, and it will be some time in the making. It will probably be maybe in the next year or two, but hope to hear from us on this one. And if we have more that we can give to you as far as information goes or anything else, we will provide that as it comes, but please support us. We
I
appreciate you.
think I think the other thing we can put out there is that it will be an animated series. I think that's about the most I feel comfortable giving, is that we're going to be voice acting, animated series, and yeah, just that. Hopefully, yeah, like you said, about year, maybe 2 years. It really depends on how fast production goes. So be looking out for that. But past that, Just always remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that noti bell because it helps, get the notification to you whenever we post a new video. But other than that, Gigas?
Till next time, keep your rolls high, keep your hearts open, and as always, keep talking that crit.
See you guys.